Story 1. Today I screwed up because my GF found videos of a girl calling me a good boy. Make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoy. Thanks. I was 19 years old when I first became aware that I had an interest in things of that sort. Prior to that point, I had no notion that I had such an interest. Before that moment, I had no idea that I had an interest in things of that nature. Before that, I was completely unaware of what was taking place. Before that, I had no idea what was going on and was utterly oblivious to it. When I was browsing around on TikTok, all of a sudden I came across a video that had been produced by a young lady who follows the page that I maintain specifically for you. That came as a complete shock to me to see it. In the video, it is conceivable that one may hear her uttering the words, "Who is a good-looking young man? Are you a respectable boy?" In addition to further investigations of the same kind. I am not very pleased with it, but despite the fact that I am conscious of the fact that it is peculiar, I find that I enjoy the way that it comes out in speech. I can't help but admire the way that it comes over in my ears. I am unable to suppress my admiration for the manner in which that comes over. The way that it sounded gave me a true pleasure, but I couldn't quite put my finger on why that was the case. Something deep within of me took genuine joy in the way that it sounded. After that, I went online and went to her page, where I saw some additional videos of her giving interviews. In these interviews, she discussed a range of issues, including those that were mentioned earlier. The mother was so overcome with happiness that she was unable to hold back her tears any longer and instead sobbed, "That's my responsible kid, just like that, honey." She was speaking to me in a voice that was extremely similar to the one that one would use when speaking to a dog, and as soon as she started doing that, I curled up into a ball and remained silent. She was speaking to me in a voice that was extremely similar to the one that one would use when speaking to a dog. She was talking to me in a voice that was strikingly similar to the one would use when addressing a canine companion. When it comes to this particular facet, I fall short of the expectations that others have of me. I was only interested in listening to the music, therefore I ended up archiving a good number of those movies specifically so that I could do so. This was because I was only interested in listening to the music. This was due to the fact that the music itself was the only thing that fascinated me. When it comes to deciding how to approach the matter with my partner, I find myself at a loss for words, and I'm scared that she could have the same feelings that I do. Because I care a great deal about her, the very last thing I want to do is anything that would cause her to feel awkward or nervous in any way. I want to avoid doing anything that might have that effect on her. In spite of this, she came by today, and considering that she is aware of the password to my phone, she told me that she wanted to verify something and that she already knew the password. I told her the password, which she already knows, so that she could check whatever it was that she needed to check on my phone. I did this because she already knows the password. Because she is already familiar with the password that needs to be used, this did not provide any difficulties for me to deal with. She had mentioned that she needed to look at the images that I had taken of us the day before, so she looked at the photographs that I had shot of us on that day. She became aware that there were quite a few videos that included women, and given the fact that the folder that was supposed to keep the videos hidden did not include them, she started watching the videos that featured women. In addition to this, she realized that the folder that was supposed to conceal the films did not in fact have any of them within it. Permit me to tell you that as I listened to the audio, the contents of my stomach leapt up toward my chest. This happened as I was listening to it. This took place at the same time that I was listening to it. This occurred at the same time that I was processing the information. She was interested in the line of reasoning that led to my decision to keep that, so I gave her some background information regarding the sequence of events that led up to my decision in order to satisfy her curiosity. She left the room without saying anything, and later she explained to me that she required some time to herself in order to reflect on the circumstance, pleading with me not to call her. She exited the room without uttering a word before she went. It was obvious that she was distressed about something, and it was also obvious that she was distressed. Story 2. Today I screwed up by scaring my friend's pet snake. A friend of mine 20F has a reptile room full of snakes and other reptiles. I traveled all the way here to pay her a visit. I'm not scared of snakes or anything, so I figured I'd give the room a look-see. She was showing me various snakes and asked if I wanted to hold one of the larger ones, to which I responded, sure. I was checking it out, but I must have moved it around too much because she said, "Oh, be gentler with it." And then the stuff that felt like oil dripped from the object onto my left hand and onto the floor. She grabbed the snake from my hands and returned it, wincing and saying, "Oh no, it hadn't done that in a year." At first, I didn't understand, and then I noticed the odor. I had no idea what to expect, and the odor was the worst thing I've ever encountered. It smelled like dog poop, rotten fish, and rancid cheese, all at once, but it was so oily that I could actually taste it. I immediately left the room and made my way to the nearest bathroom. Meanwhile, she did the best she could to clean up the mess and, thankfully, wasn't angry with me, instead saying, "Well, I guess you learned a lesson." There's a reason people don't want to scare them and are more afraid of the stinky end than the bitey end. While we were out and about, I noticed that my hand still reeked like hell whenever I brought it close to my face, and she confirmed that this would likely be the case for at least another day or two. Unfortunately, things were even worse when we finally returned home. The moment we walked in, I was greeted by the aroma, and the reptile room smelled up my entire guest bedroom. She had opened windows and said it could take some time for the musk to air out and I would just have to learn to live with it. Didn't sleep well last night because I was sick the whole time.